Hey, what's up, guys? It's Cecily from Drive Girl Drive, and I am leaving a job and thought, why don't I do a story time? This story time is that time that woman almost had that baby in my car. I picked up a pregnant couple in Studio City. I didn't know that they were pregnant until I drove up and saw them put their suitcases out the door. Now, I assumed that it was I assumed that they were going to the airport. So when the guy came over to the car, he put the suitcases down. I said, okay, LAX or, Burbank. And he goes, the hospital. And I'm like, oh, okay, is everything okay? I look up and I see his pregnant wife standing in the doorway. And I was like, oh, snap, right? So I was like, everything good? And he's looking at me nervously like, oh yeah, everything's great, everything's fine. Yeah, everything's great. I was like, oh my God, she's in labor. So she kind of waddles out to the car. She's a beautiful Caucasian woman, tall, elegant, the giraffe variety. You know how I love tall women. And she is just like, yes, okay, we're going to the hospital. With all the little breathing things. And I was like, aren't you picture perfect? You guys are so cute. She's sitting there doing the little breathing exercises. He's freaking out. We put her in the car, and he and I start kind of fumbling with the suitcase, and the suitcase was kind of heavy. So I had to he was kind of a petite guy, so I actually had to help him with the suitcase, which I thought was funny. And I don't usually help men with suitcases, obviously, because I'm a girl, but I will help old ladies and mamas. But anyway, this guy was probably ready to pass out. So he and I are putting the suitcase in the car, and he's like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And I was like, well, you can't necessarily say that you're not ready for it. Like, this is what you have to do. So he gets in the car, and I get in the car as well. And I noticed that Mama is grabbing onto my seat. And I was like, all right, are you okay? And she goes, I'm fine. I'm great. Everything's great. And I'm just like, okay, all right, like, I can already tell you're probably in pain and you really don't want to be bothered. So we're driving from Studio City to, where were we going? Cedar Sinai. Cedar Sinai is like West Hollywood, Beverly Hills-ish. And there's a huge canyon that separates it. So I asked them, you guys want to take the canyon or you guys want to take the freeway? Just take the fastest way there. And I'm like, oh, okay. Right. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to take the canyon. I was like, the canyon can be kind of scary, though, but I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do what I have to do. Just do it. And I'm just like, all right, okay. You know what? I'm just going to allow you to be a little bit short with me for the simple fact that you have a baby coming out of your body. But husband over here is freaking out. He's sweating and everything. It's hot in here? It's hot. And I'm sitting here like, it's not that hot. I had the air on full capacity. But of course, he was feeling anxious and stuff like that. Let me fix this. So we're going up Laurel Canyon. We're coming down, and I'm looking in the mirror, and she's got his hand, and she's squeezing the hell out of every single time she has a contraction. And so I was like, how can I lighten the mood? Because this is my thing. I always try to see, ways I can make people feel comfortable with me or to entertain. And I was just like, if I push too hard, she may just cuss me out. It may just happen. So I was just like, okay, yeah, have any other kids? And she was like, no, this is my first. And I was like, oh, that's so exciting. I'm a mother of 3. And I just kind of left it there, all right, I just want you to know I'm a mom. I know what you're going through. I understand. And I don't want you to freak out. And if you have any questions, let me know. And she was like, well, yeah, I've got a great pediatrician and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then she squeezes her husband's hand. Her husband's like, ah! Then his phone rings, and he puts it up to his ear. And you can hear the guy say, I can't hear you. What's going on? His phone was upside down. And she's like, your phone's upside down. And he's like, oh, my bad. He's trying so hard to say how excited he is. We're excited. We're on the way to the hospital. Yeah, we're in an Uber. And she's just looking at him like, I hate you. And, because he's kind of this is the relief that he needed. He needed to talk to one of his homeboys. At the same time, he was having a little bit too much fun, so she's kind of looking at him like at any second she would take the phone and throw it out of the window. So, okay, cool. So long story short, we get to Cedar Sinai. And I was like, how you doing, baby? And she's like, I'm doing okay. And I was like, okay. I said, you got this. You're gonna be great. And I was like, okay, so do you know where the emergency room is? Because I didn't know where the emergency room is, and they routed me to the emergency room. And I was just like, I was like, this is gonna be like one of the happiest days of your life. No matter what happens, like good things are gonna come from it. So if you could just hold on and get there, just get inside the dang hospital. Don't have that baby in this car. You'll be good. So we pulled up to a little spot. I parallel parked. He ran out and got a wheelchair. Came back for her. And she screamed, and I reached back and I grabbed her hand, and she squeezed the hell out of my hand, her last contraction, and she rubbed my arm, and she gave me a little bit of a hug, not really a hug, she just kind of thrusted her body forward, and she like kind of pinned my arm. She says, thank you so much. She said, you kept my mind. She goes, you kept my mind off of my contractions. I was like, I did, because I thought you didn't like me, like I thought she was mad and I was getting on your nerves. She said, I am having a baby. I'm like, yeah, no, I know, right? Oh my God. So then he pulls his wife out, she sits down, and she waves at me. He turns her around, and then he starts wheeling her hella fast. And she's like, stop. And then I had to get out the way because it was a place for taxis, and the taxi drivers were beeping at me, and I could get a ticket. You get a ticket if you park in a taxi zone. But I was like, there's a pregnant person in my car, so I could have got a ticket anyway. But that's my story. I've been wanting to tell you guys that story for so long. Like, it was such the cutest story. And I'm like, if you ever get someone in your car that need emergency services, especially if they feel like, number one, if she would have started to have that baby, I would not have drove her to the hospital. They probably would have beat my ass. But the bottom line is that the baby could be in distress, and it would have been better for me to call an EMT. I know that would have probably been preferred, and I'm pretty sure Uber has some sort of term that would have advised a driver to not take them to the hospital. She didn't appear to be like, she was definitely in labor, didn't appear that she was like crowning and the baby was coming out. She was uncomfortable, but she wasn't like screaming, going crazy, like, bloody murder. And I almost had my daughter in the car, so I know what that's like. So I was ready for that for that part. So I'm just putting out the disclaimer, because there's always one person that got something to say, like, you shouldn't have did that, what. Anyway, I'm letting you know that I felt like it was all right, and it seemed to be all right. If you're in that position, you may need to do something differently. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. And if you have any funny stories like that, ever picked up anyone and took them to the hospital? Random, right? I'd love to hear it. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.